Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man who always thinks he can, champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, joined alongside me as the best the West you cannot forget about, Sarah Marshall for the Pitts and Pitts and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. We're we're doing great. And Sarah, how are you doing? What's poppin'?
I am excited to talk about Elimination Chamber.
We're going to be diving into the Elimination Chamber today. Supposed to do it last week, but personal things come up and you roll with the punches. So we're rolling into this week with the topic and just going with a full deep dive from everything from a little bit of history to our thoughts on it to our predictions of the upcoming premium live event. Sarah, no more are the pay-per-views because we pretty much pay-per-stream, so you can't have PPS.
Yeah.
Sounds weird. It's just not a thing. So before we do that, though, we always start out the show with a little bit of an icebreaker for anyone who is new. Lemon and rosebud. Don't be a lemon, Sarah. Be a rosebud.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what we're going to do. What we do in this segment is we give our rose, which is something we loved, something that was unreal that from the week that we want to share. And then
Mm-hmm.
our lemon, because we don't want to be lemons. We want to talk about what we did not like to see this week. So, without further ado, as the host of the most, Sarah, I let the guests eat first. So, I'll let you go first with your lemon. Rose or lemon? You pick.
Rose.
Yeah.
So mine would be the Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes segment from Raw. No surprise there. I just think that was the best part of Raw for me. I said it when we broke it down that I felt like it was an okay episode. It wasn't my favorite. I wouldn't say that I was like glued to the TV, but this was one of those moments where, yeah, I was watching and I've rewatched it and I am glad that we are seeing that because, as I said, it felt like the Cody and Heyman segment really put together all of this storyline that they're trying to do so that, you know, the Sami and Roman stuff is super hot right now. So then you were kind of forgetting about Cody. So that was a good integration of Cody. But then after Cody with Heyman, I felt like you kind of, not that you forgot about Sami, but it was like, okay, the heat is back on Cody now.
Yeah.
And I felt like this equaled it out in the perfect timing because obviously that matches on this weekend. So I just liked that they did that, have the heat going for Sami, and that it was a segment that included Cody. So it was like all the worlds were combined
Yeah.
in this segment. So I just thought it was a really good moment.
All the worlds collided in that segment. You know, all the roads connected. Because then now you have Cody. It was a little bit of a crossover episode.
It was like
Okay.
Crossroads.
Ha ha ha! You
Mhm.
did it. You did
Mhm.
that,
Mhm.
and they did that thing too. It was no, it was really good. It was a really good segment. I would also put that as my rose, but I have something different, Sarah. My rose is HBK's NXT. Sarah, how when we started this, I was not on the NXT bandwagon. I thought it was
Yeah.
dumb. I did not want anything to do with it. I would have rather watched AEW Dark Elevation, and that
Is
is
that
like
still a
over
thing?
what?
AEW Dark.
Yeah, my buddies
Oh.
wrestle in it all the time.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
didn't know. Just
I'm
asking.
just letting you know. I'm just being the informant. And but even that's still good, and it serves a purpose. Like NXT can't be at that level since this whole new regime coming in. You know, DX takeover essentially.
Mhm.
It's been absolutely incredible. Okay. It's been absolutely really good to watch because it doesn't feel like it's development. It just feels like it's different. You
Mhm.
know, it can be different and not the minor leagues. You know, I explain it to to the common folk, the muggles for any Harry Potter fans. out there that it is the minor leagues, but it's a different product. You know, it's a 2 hour show with vignettes, but the vignettes tell a story in another way. It feels like you are kind of watching a TV show. I mean, with the segment this week with the Cowboy Brothers, I don't know their names,
I
and
don't know.
Kiana James, I think it is, um, and the whole that
Or the
situation.
Pretty Deadly and Gallus.
Oh my god, the Pretty Deadly.
I
That was what
watched
I was.
that.
That was what I was going to bring up too. Is that is how you build Pretty Deadly to be not over completely with the audience, but at least connect with them so that when
Mhm.
they do get that call eventually to the main roster, you're not going to have, crickets in the crowd like, who are these guys? Though NXT UK, no, they had some really good matches and did a lot of good work in NXT. I'm I really like this product. And I had a question about this too, Sarah. Is a lot of people don't care about Braun Breaker. They just don't.
I Okay, so I didn't watch last night, but I saw some reactions and I was confused, I think, but I kind of love it that the fans have like turned on Braun. I kind of love that because I I mean, he's been champion for quite some time at this point.
Yeah.
Um but I think that just shows you how invested fans can be in certain things and certain storylines and certain feuds. And then the second that that's over, like they can change their feelings. So the fact that they were doing that must be a sign that they were really hoping for Grayson Waller, which I know we thought that was what was going to happen,
I
just
was
given
so
the
ready for it.
timeline.
I was so ready
Um,
for it, Sarah. I was
but
so
the
ready.
fact that they were people chanting and cheering for Jinder over Braun Breaker, I'm like,
Don't hinder the
ugh.
gender, baby. Don't hinder that
So
gender.
it's going to be interesting to see if that continues because HBK is going to have to ride that wave and be like, okay, if the fans are turning on Braun, then he's a heel. Like they're going to have to do something because like you can't have one of your top guys being booed for no
No,
reason,
I
basically.
agree. What I think is going to happen is they're going to boom out of NXT, wink, wink, up
Hmm.
into the main roster because he just belongs there. You put him on SmackDown. I mean, that's a guy that you put against Gunther, and he maybe takes the title off him, or he feuds with somebody of that caliber. It's just he's so fit for SmackDown that having the fans turn on him like this, I don't care who he lose the title to at this point. It's just we got to get him up there, get the title off him, so then eventually Carmelo Hayes can then run NXT for about a year and a half, maybe even two, depending on the run, and then have him get up into the main roster. Because that's the thing with a lot of these guys that I would love to see, Axiom, Carmelo Hayes, JD McDonough, Ilya Drogunov, all those guys in the main roster, but you can't. You just can't. It needs to be. It's going to be a year or two for most.
Well, and I think yeah, there's just not room for
That's the thing.
them
There's no room.
right
There's no
now.
room.
And then it you don't want it to become another situation where these guys are killing it in NXT. They finally get brought up to the main roster and then there's nothing for them and they eventually either leave the company or they somehow work their way back down to NXT. Like that's not the whole point of developmental. The whole goal is to get to the main roster and be a huge star. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes because we know historically the Raw after Mania is a big night for NXT. So,
Yeah, it is. It's a very big night. But and this, I'm gonna kind of segue now into my lemon because I just thought of one to add on to my other lemon that is relevant to this topic. Karrion Cross has came out saying that he's unhappy with his placement right now, and that's another situation where even Triple H brings him back and he gets that
mhm.
moment, but there's no real place for him because you kind of have to end the bloodline story. And once you get those titles off, then you can put him in the WWE title picture and have him feud with top guys. But right now it's just tough. So for him to be unhappy, it's sad because how good was he in NXT? So
Well,
good.
yeah, and I think when they originally brought him back, they were immediately trying to put him in the like main event scene. and that didn't last very long. And, because he came out and basically debuted beating up McIntyre. But yeah, I do think a lot of it has to do with the titles being on one guy. And then even with Gunther, it's like they want him to be champion for a long time as well. So then it's like you kind of don't have anything to do. Plus, I think part of it too is in his situation, Rey Mysterio is who he's supposed to be feuding with, but he's also feuding with Dominic in the Judgment Day. So it's like there's a lot of intertwining storylines, and I think that can be kind of problematic for someone who's trying to reestablish themselves and like be a part of something. And that might be kind of like a tricky thing for Carrion.
What?
Huh?
What?
You didn't hear anything I said?
No, I did. I thought you just stopped mid sentence.
No, I said that
Oh,
I
you're
was the
done.
end.
I was just yeah. No, I love the Dominic feud with Ray. I think it's gonna be good at Mania. And a question I had spurring off your comments was that do you think they're going to cut all the ends of these rivals and feuds at Mania? Like you said, they're all connected. So with this whole regime, you kind of need to go into this, new season after Mania with a completely fresh start and no loose ends from Vince.
Well, don't they usually have like, isn't the next pay-per-view after Mania usually like that's when they end everything that happens at Mania?
For like the rematches and stuff.
Yeah.
So at
But
least
I
one of
think that
those two.
I think we're gonna get more clarity on a lot of things between Elimination Chamber and Mania. Like, I think that that's when, we believe that it's gonna be Kevin Owens and Sammy like versus the Usos for the tag title. So that takes like a huge chunk away from Sammy and KO's involvement in the whole bloodline because it won't really circle around Roman, and then Roman can focus on whatever they're going to have him do between now and Mania, because I mean, who knows? He's not even been on Raw or SmackDown for like 2 weeks, so who knows? But that'll focus him on Cody. But see, the problem there is like they have to have Roman on Raw, otherwise we're going to be in the exact same situation that we're in now, and
Yeah.
that doesn't help anything. But maybe, I mean, they'll have more focus with, Karrion will have a real feud between now and then with Ray leading up to Mania, but then again, it seems like it's going to be the Mysterios in a match. So it's like I don't know. That might be kind of one of the flaws of Triple H at this point. Like, as good as some of these are, it's like there's too much involved in the biggest storylines that are going on right now that other guys aren't getting opportunities. Maybe that's like one of his fatal flaws at this point, if I had to pick something.
Yeah. And then the other lemon I had, as you can see on the screen in front of you, the Acclaim lost to the Ass Boys
I saw people were
2
very
weeks
upset
ago.
about that.
I'm not happy about this as a massive fan of the Acclaimed because everybody loves the Acclaimed. But I don't like it just because, like, all right, like the Guns, the Young, whatever you want to call them, are your tag team champions right now. Yeah, I get they did beat FTR, so that's like kind of a statement win to stamp themselves as like, okay, they could be champions because they beat a champion, but it's weird. I don't know. The AEW tag, I'm more invested in their 6-man tag team titles rather than their actual tag team titles. So it's a weird. I have a weird feeling like about it, but I just if that's my only complaint right now. I mean, it kind of segues into your lemon as well.
Yeah, mine, I think there's nothing that really stood out for me other than the things that don't even really matter. Like, I don't care about Baron Corbin, but would I say that was the worst part of my week? No.
No, as a fan,
I
like, yeah.
like I don't care about the Shayna Baszler and Ronda stuff, but like I wasn't invested, so it's not like, oh
So
man,
you
that
don't care.
really was the worst part of wrestling, like I don't think that there's really anything that I could complain about. Um I mean, things are going to be probably pretty simple anyway leading up to the pay-per-view. So unless something like drastic happens on SmackDown, then I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. I think that's a great place to end into going into our elimination chamber
Mm-hmm.
talk right now. Sarah, the elimination chamber is such a fun pay-per-view or just match in general before it became a pay-per-view itself. What open this up. What is your thoughts on it being its own pay-per-view name rather than, the New Year's resolution or having it at a SummerSlam or a Survivor Series?
I don't hate it. I just hate the name. That's something that I feel like Vince got lazy with, which it was very much like pay-per-views were the name of a stipulation, and it was just like I miss when it was No Way Out. Like No Way Out is sick, and that's how it
Yes.
should have been. And apparently it's still like No Way Out in Germany or something. Like they still call it that. So I'm like, I don't know, but I'm like, why can't it be No Way Out here? Like,
Wait, what? It's so Germany,
I don't
like
know.
the German broadcasters
I
unifiedly say it's
I don't know. That's just what I had read. I don't know, but that's what
that's
they were saying.
incredible. That is
So,
incredible.
but yeah, I don't mind it, but I feel like it can be kind of tricky when there are only two matches on the card that are actually in the elimination chamber. I feel like what we were saying, it could be something where they could still use the chamber, just don't use the pods. Like you could still use it for the other matches.
Yeah.
Just yeah, don't use the pods. And I feel like that would be more interesting because I feel like in some ways this can feel like a what word am I looking for? Just kind of like a randomly put together pay-per-view that's just like in the middle of the Royal Rumble and Mania, which are
Yeah.
two of the bigger pay-per-views that you care about. And when there's only like two elimination chamber matches, it's just kind of like, like I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
I don't really I'm with you. It should
Yeah.
and why don't they take a page out of TNA's playbook and do an entire pay-per-view inside the elimination chamber? Yeah, it may not be the most aesthetically pleasing for the viewer at home,
Yeah.
but the viewer at home just wants to be entertained. If
Yeah.
the camera cuts are, oh, you see too much metal or fencing or whatever you want to call it, and you can't really see the action, well, that's why you have to pay to be at the event. It's like that is not the trend anymore. They kind of cater towards the viewer at home. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's more of them, but
Yeah.
you know, this is where you got to throw the fan who went to the event a bone with having it be the pay-per-view before WrestleMania. They
Mhm.
bought the ticket because it's like, all right, well, it's not Mania, but it's here. We're gonna go
Yeah.
to it. It's gonna be a good show. So
Mm.
why not reward them by doing something like that? And I don't know when the last time something was done like that. That's how
Yeah.
you be different and evolve with the times.
Mhm.
One
Well,
thing
and it's
they've struggled with.
possible, I mean, with Triple H now, who knows what the long-term ideas are, because I wouldn't be surprised if some of what he's doing is kind of being held back because it is his first year, that maybe he doesn't want to do too many things that are different, like
Yeah.
he added war games, which I think worked well.
Oh,
um
that was one of his top decisions of the year.
yeah, but I think it's possible that next year maybe it will be back to like No Way Out or another name, or we will see them use the chamber in matches. Like I would like to think that he listens to the fans a little bit more. If kind of, I mean, it feels like that at this point. And I don't know if this is a universal thing or if maybe it's just something that you and I are talking about, but it would be nice if we're sitting here being like, oh man, it would be nice if they had more chamber matches on the pay per view. If that was something that was being said a ton online, it would be cool if he would take that into account for next year and actually be like, oh yeah, maybe we should do something like that, because
Yeah.
then, like I said, the matches I feel like would then not feel as meaningless because there's a stipulation and it's like, okay, well, if you're going to have a match at this pay-per-view, whatever, um then it's like it's a brutal one. Like oh my gosh, like you're supposed to be intimidated by the Elimination Chamber, and it's like if you're just having a match at that pay-per-view, it's just kind of like, okay, but what's so special about this? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
so
I'm with you.
yeah.
I'm with you there. But the Elimination Chamber still is a really cool match concept.
Hmm.
It's something that I really admire about the WWE is that a lot of their specialty matches have been pretty standard, and they don't really go with the time. It seems very like, all right, like corny, cheesy. Where the Elimination Chamber is such a good concept, where at first it was before they softened it and nerfed it with the padding on the floor. But I mean, I loved the Elimination Chamber growing up.
Do you know
I
who
loved it.
created the Elimination
I was
Chamber?
just about to ask you. It was a combination, because I did this in my research, of Eric Bischoff and Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
Were the co-creators. So maybe that, Sarah, could actually be more of a reason Triple H could make it like his own pay-per-view, where it's like every match is inside of an elimination chamber because he created it. He was part creator.
Mm-hmm. And I
I,
think that
I
would be kind of cool for the women too.
oh
Because
yeah.
yeah, they're gonna have this match, but it's still like it's not even a title match, which is fine. I understand. But this is another reason I feel like it would be kind of nice if there were mid card titles for the women, because the United States Championship is being featured as the title match of the Elimination Chamber for the men. It'd be kind of cool if the women could have something equal on the other side, rather than being like, oh, it's just for the number one contender. Like, it would be nice if they could do something, because the men are doing it only because Roman already has a match. So, and he's a double champion. So that's why they're not doing it. But like the women aren't. It's, I don't know.
No, I agree with
Yeah,
your point that they should be doing that. This year, though,
it
it's
wouldn't
not
work.
the year for exactly.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
work.
No, I get it. I just mean like it would be like for the future, it'd be
Yeah,
nice to
moving
like
forward,
have more of that.
absolutely. I can absolutely get behind that because it makes sense. I mean, with the abundance of talent right now, and you usually with the abundance of talent right now, women's wrestling specifically, it makes sense. Years ago, when they were just having these 5-minute matches and just a bathroom break, yeah, no, why don't do it? Then it's like Dana Brooke with a 24/7 championship.
Yeah.
But now with I mean, there are a lot of people who I just do not think they could get to that upper echelon of women's champion, but maybe like a women's intercontinental or like a featherweight, and just something like that where
Yeah.
it's encompassing.
Yeah. Should we talk about some interesting facts?
We should, as let me pull up my notes here. I have some links to some great facts and history notes about the chamber. The
I do
first,
too. I have them. No,
the
I have notes right here. Oops.
nice. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I all right. The first chamber match. Do you know what it was?
Yes. Well, I know that RVD and Triple H were in that match, but
Okay, Survivor Series 2003 at MSG. The first elimination chamber match was HBK, HBK, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Kane, Booker T, RVD, and Chris Jericho.
and RVD almost killed Triple H.
He almost did. We found that out. Oh man,
I knew about that, but it
I
was one of those
didn't.
things that like I didn't see the pay-per-view then, because I was like 14 or whatever, so I wasn't buying it. So it's something I knew about a long time ago, but it wasn't something that I remembered because I didn't see it.
Hmm.
But if people aren't aware of it, it was RVD did a frog splash off of the, I mean, as far as high as he could go in the chamber, because we know it has like the rounded roof,
And it's
not like
RVD.
it's not like a cage. And because he couldn't fully extend, basically, he landed on Triple H's throat, and he had a torn larynx and a bruised, like it was just a bruised throat, and he couldn't speak for some time. and they had to like cut his throat or something. I remember it was like cut his larynx or something like that in order for the swelling to go down, so he basically didn't like suffocate.
Yeah,
Like that's
insane.
insanity, absolute insanity.
That's the power
And
of the
then since you
chamber.
said Jericho, Jericho has been in the most Elimination Chamber matches. He's been in 8.
Really?
John Cena and Orton have been in 7. So
Okay.
that's insane. Like when you think about it, like the fact that Jericho has been gone from WWE as long as he has, and the amount of times he's left and come back, and he
Yeah.
still has the most appearances in that match is pretty crazy.
And especially because he created the Money in the Bank match, you would think that he would have the most appearances there. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Jericho is awesome. He just reinvents himself over and over again. I can go on a whole fucking tangent about him, but let's stay on track here. Where are more of my notes here? Oh my gosh, kidding. Most victories. 17. All right, I thought this was all right. There's the site I clicked on was not the
Okay.
best
Well,
site. But you go with yours.
the original name came from a WWE.com poll, which I feel like that's pretty cool. That would be kind of cool to do that again. Like Triple H
Yeah, why don't they do that?
involving us, but like not giving us a stupid option. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah,
that people are just gonna pick to troll. Like don't do that because whatever. But
or do it and then capitalize on it
and
and
then
actually go through with it.
or just fake and be like, nope, that's not that one. That's not what won.
It's like
I
Great
thought
Balls
this
of
was
Fire.
I thought this was interesting too, that the Elimination Chamber has always featured a title and it was never anything less than the WWE Championship. Like the Universal title has not been in an Elimination Chamber match. But
So
this year it is the United States Championship. So congratulations, Mr. Austin Theory. You are a first.
he's just shattering records across the board.
And he's only 25.
He's younger.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like it should just be a joke the way that we do it with Jason Tatum. Like he's only 19. Like we need to do that with Theory. It's like he's only 24.
I'm with you there. That's actually hilarious. I'm all in on doing that. Oh, this one has, yeah. Do you know who won the first ever tag team elimination chamber match?
No.
It's a New Day. Yes, it is.
Okay. That was something too. I saw this list of things that people are tired of seeing in elimination chamber matches. And before I get into it, it's just what reminded me. People apparently don't like seeing tag teams in elimination chambers. I'm wondering if it's because just like
What?
having 2 people in a pod. I don't know. But I thought that was kind of interesting.
See, I feel like that'd be the opposite. I mean, I'm also a sucker for any form of that stuff, but I mean, a tag team in an elimination chamber, there's more you can do. There's more
There's more people
spots. There's
to
more
watch.
people. There's more. Well, oh, maybe that's the case too. You can't focus in on one specific
Yeah.
portion of the match. And
The
yeah,
other
there's a lot
things
of
that
okay.
people didn't like, I thought were interesting because some of them I kind of agree with, which is like pod collisions. It's like those are okay, but it's like at some point they are overdone where it's like, okay, we get it. You're going to run into the plexiglass. Like, well,
It's like, yeah, the table's gonna get broken at some point. It's like one of
yeah.
those types of spots.
Like we said with RVD jumping from the top of the pod again, it is just kind of like it's been done, so it's nothing exciting at this point necessarily. I mean, I guess it can depend on who it is, but most of the time it doesn't look that cool because you can't like I said with RVD, you can't fully stand up, you can't really do the move properly, so it doesn't normally look that great and it's not usually that effective, or apparently it's very dangerous.
It is kind of dangerous, Sarah. It
Yeah.
is.
And then other things people said, over dominance by like a specific person, which I feel like that's just something that happens in every match. So if that's a thing for you, then maybe wrestling's not your thing.
It isn't. It's just not.
Outer interference, which I hate that no matter what. Like when it's like a cage match or an elimination chamber match or
Oh
something,
yeah,
I
it's like
always hate outer interference because even though it's a no disqualification, it's like you're not supposed to be able to get in or like do anything to help, so why are you here? Like I don't get that.
Yeah.
the last two things, not enough brutality. You kind of mentioned that already. And wrestlers trying to escape, which is odd because you can't escape
You can't escape.
you
You
can't
can just
escape the
not.
chamber.
You're not going to escape the chamber. Um, I do not like the new elimination chamber in the slightest. I understand we're all about safety now, and you do have to protect the wrestler. Like I get that stuff, but it just looks so Chuck E. Cheese
You know what I
compared to the
wouldn't be
last one. I
surprised
just
about too is that they make it not as brutal because of where they have it, because it's the pay-per-view before Mania. They don't want to risk more injury.
exactly.
That might be why.
So then, what are
Like,
we doing having it? What are we doing?
yeah, no, I mean, if it was like, I don't know, yeah, somewhere a couple months after or something, I don't know, then we might be able to see more brutality or something, I guess. I don't know.
What are we doing? I feel like that's such an easy, like, hey, maybe we should just do a regular pay per view before WrestleMania because WrestleMania is already pretty much a weekend in itself, sometimes even a week and a half. Why not just go in with a nice little cupcake pay per view to push some storylines along, get over some talent before Mania so they can get their, true WrestleMania moment? I just don't understand why you put the Elimination Chamber, a brutal contest like that, when it could be in like the summer.
No, and I think that's what I mean, where it can kind of feel like a subpar pay-per-view because it does feel like a filler pay-per-view almost. That's kind of like what it feels like. And
Oh, it absolutely feels like
I
that.
mean, I'm sure the pay-per-view is probably going to be great. The show will probably be good, but yeah, I think that's part of the deal with Elimination Chamber was always that it was supposed to be like a scary stipulation. It was supposed to be like, oh, you don't want to be in that match. And it's like so far we've seen all these girls being like, I want to be in the match. And it's like, but I thought you were like supposed to be scared of it. Like you
Yeah.
weren't, like you were gonna do it and you were gonna overcome it and it was gonna be brutal and oh, I could do it. But then you're all like, I want to be in the match. And it's like, what? Like I remember times where they were like, oh man, I'm in that match. Like I'm gonna do it. Like I want that title, but like I'm a little
Well,
scared.
Liv
Like,
Morgan's crazy, so I feel like this match is made for her right now.
yeah. Well, and she's a
Okay.
tiny person, so like she probably has one up on like Raquel Rodriguez, who definitely can't be doing like anything crazy in there because she's a glamazon lady.
She's the middle child in Encanto, the Madrigal sister who can lift everything. She looks exactly like her.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Oh,
So
you gotta see Encanto. It's so good. So good.
so do
So
you want to
good.
get into the pay-per-view since we're talking about it already?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that my favorite stat I just saw was that Braun Strowman has the most eliminations with 5
Oh
in an
wow.
elimination chamber match, and that Edge also won and lost an elimination chamber match in the same night.
Interesting. It's kind of crazy that Strowman has that considering like how short of amount of time he's been like a
I know,
dominant
right?
figure in WWE. Like, what?
That is a lot of
Um
people.
okay, so let's talk about the match card for
Oh,
Saturday. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar.
Brock.
Do you notice that even when Paul still says it, he can't just say Brock Lesnar. He's always like Brock
Yes.
Lesnar. And I'm like, that's built, like that's ingrained in your brain, isn't it?
Yeah. There's
But I
no,
feel
you
like
can't say that
this is the
normally.
thing. I don't know if I've said it on here before, but I feel like when Mama Lesnar was pregnant with little baby boy Lesnar,
Oh, baby
and she
boy.
decided to name him Brock, she had to have known his destiny was going to be something like this. Because can you imagine having a child running around an elementary school playground and just being like, hi, I'm Brock Lesnar? Like, no, that's not like a cutesy name. That is like, I am going to dominate and kill you for like the rest of my life. Like, that is not like at all a cutesy. I feel like that is a name that has to be pronounced like Brock Lesnar. Like that is an iconic name. That's a
it's
fake one,
such
that sounds like
it
something
is
that like a
such a
team
yeah.
of creatives came up with.
No, that sounds like straight out of a superhero movie, Brock Lesnar, and
Yeah.
it's just so perfect for him. Oh my god, that was so much. Hi, I'm Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, like
Good
imagine.
evening, Orlando.
He was also probably like a giant child as well, but
Oh my god,
I
he
don't
would have
know for
bullied
sure,
me.
but
He would have bullied me so
oh
bad.
yeah. Imagine him growing up in the streets of North Dakota, South Dakota, whichever one he's from.
Oh
I don't
my
remember. He's from
god,
Dakota.
just chewing Red Man since
Um
age 5.
okay, so as far as this match goes, I feel like Lesnar's winning.
I feel like this is a no contest. That's up for me. Yeah.
Yeah. The
I
only
just
reason
don't.
I think Lesnar, so like I said, if we go off of based how things used to be, where whoever was the victor on the Raw or SmackDown before the pay-per-view is usually the one that's losing. So technically that would mean Lesnar's winning, Lashley's losing. But because there are potential Mania implications stemming from this, I just I don't know. I feel like because Bobby has mentioned so many times how he has one up on Lesnar because it's like what 2-1, I think. This would mean this is a
Yeah.
tie, so Lesnar wins, so it's 2-2, and they'll finally settle the beef at Mania, and that's why
Squash the beef.
it'll be a stipulation because then it's like they have to have something to make it more worth it, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
or like
Mm-hmm.
whoever comes out as the winner, it's like okay, they really kicked ass and took some names and then chugged some beer,
Had some Steve Weisers.
They had some Steve Austin. What?
I might get some for the. They saw
What?
that beer. What?
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 No, I don't drink
What?
beer. I only drink beer if I'm drunk. It's the only time. What?
That's an oxymoron. I was going to say that I might grab a. You can buy them at the local packy up the street from me. You can get 4 of them up there. So I might grab some for Saturday. Who knows?
So do you have any predictions for this?
I say I think no contest. This gets brutal outside the ring, and it's just like it's chaos. They can't. There's no winner. And then the next night or 2 nights later, they announce that it's going to be like no holds barred at Mania, and they have like a hardcore extreme match where they don't focus on weapons. They just brawl everywhere. I mean, brawl everywhere.
I'd love to see a bunch of weapons.
I mean, I would love weapons, but I'm just trying to like, I don't know. I'm not trying to get all my hopes up.
Well, I think also it would kind of play into who's the more dominant alpha male if they don't use weapons. It's like I beat you with my own 2 hands type of thing. Like
yeah, exactly.
So then we have Edge and Beth Phoenix, the Grit Couple, versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Obviously Edge and Beth are winning. I don't really.
Does that have a stipulation?
No.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked at that. They should announce one. Oh no, that's it passed.
Yeah.
They should have announced one. Thank you.
But they're definitely Edge and Beth are winning for sure. And then I hope that's over. I don't want to see it ever again in my life.
Beth will get the pin, and then it will be over.
Yeah, but Beth has to get the pin over Finn. I don't want Rhea losing heading into Mania.
Okay.
She's already coming in as the underdog, so I don't want to see her take a loss leading into her match with Charlotte.
Do you remember when Stone Cold lost to Triple H in a 2 out of 3 falls before his main event match at WrestleMania 17?
We're also talking about 2023, so
I know, but wrestling repeats itself. And
I know, but I'm just saying that is my hope. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen.
That would be a good hope. I hope that too.
But I'm sure that's what's going to happen. They're going to want Beth to get like the final haha, So
and that's how you put the nail in the coffin.
And I mean, I think that this could be a good match. It's just obviously I love the Judgment Day. I'm just not invested in the storyline anymore. Like originally when it was happening, you and I both were super into it, especially when Dominic turned. It was like
Oh
I
my
was so
god, so
excited. I was like, "Oh my
funny.
god." But yeah, I'm just, I think it's because of them having to sell Edge and Beth being so injured and they were gone for months at a time, like 2 times, that it's kind of like I
Yeah,
checked out of this already. I've moved on. It is what it is, but um yeah, I don't know.
it's yeah. I agree. I don't. Yeah, that's my prediction. Because I mean,
Okay.
this match I'm excited to watch, but I'm not like I'm not. Oh, I need to see this match.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it, but I'm excited for it to be done. Like
That's a
I'm
better way to
excited
put
for the
it.
storyline to be done. So,
Absolutely.
um then we have the number 1 contender for the Raw Women's
Oh,
Championship
I'm so
to
excited for
face
this.
Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, which is Asuka versus Liv Morgan versus Nikki Cross versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalia versus Carmella. I predict Asuka. I need it.
My gut tells me Raquel,
Ugh.
and I know I'm wrong, so I'm gonna go with Oscar as well. I would love to see Rocky win though.
But you
And
think she's like
her versus Bianca would be
that would
electric.
be good, but like for Mania,
Yeah,
I mean,
that'd be the
I don't
first.
know.
You have that be the first women's title match.
I guess. I just think it would be really cool to see Asuka. And again, if we're going with traditional WWE ways, technically Asuka would not be the winner because she just started beating everybody up in that match. But I mean, I feel like I wouldn't be mad about anybody winning except I'm not with Natalia and I'm not with Carmella. If Carmella
No,
wins,
Carmella can't win.
if she
Carmella
oh my god, I
cannot win.
can't. I just can't. I just can't. No. I can't
I
even
think she's fabulous, but
no.
not for WrestleMania. Have her do Hollywood skits,
I
backstage stuff, or whatever,
I just
or
think
women's battle royal.
I mean, I guess I could get behind like a Raquel versus Bianca, like because there is time to build that excitement. I just think initially when I read who's in this match and who could be the most exciting for me to watch against Bianca, it's Asuka immediately. And I don't I mean, I think I would feel that way even if she hadn't changed into this new character. Um but I think that because we have this new version of Asuka, that's what makes me even more excited. And plus they're both just so good. And
They're incredible.
I would be so that I think would be one of I was gonna say I feel like that would be one of the matches that I'd be most excited for, but I feel like I mean, I don't know how many matches are gonna be, but I feel like I would be excited to see probably 80 to 90% of them. So I don't know that it would be even necessary for me to say that I would be excited because I think I'm going to be excited for most of them.
Yes, I agree.
But I do think that's going to be a good match. There's a lot of good, talented ladies in there. And I don't know. I'm just excited to see a women's elimination chamber match under Triple H. I'm just excited to see how good this could be because all these girls are good in the ring. I mean, that's being generous. But yeah, I am excited, like you said, about Liv Morgan, especially because she's doing some crazy
Watch
stuff.
me.
Yeah, she's so cute. I like Liv. Um,
She is adorable. Like honestly, she is just like adorable.
I know her and little Bo, her and little Bo Dally.
No,
Um,
she's single now.
are you serious?
Yeah,
They broke up?
I think so.
This is news. Wait,
Yeah.
I need to look this up.
Breaking news. Wait,
And
hold on.
Bo,
I think I have something for breaking news.
oh,
Oh, do I have no. I deleted it.
wait, where
Delete.
did you see that
Delete.
they broke up?
I don't know. I saw something on Instagram.
Oh, I don't see anything about that. I was gonna be shooketh.
Damn, I thought I had a
Um,
breaking news thing. Ah, well.
okay, well, anyway, the next big elimination chamber match for the evening is for the United States Championship. It is Austin Theory, who is the champion, versus Seth Rollins versus Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed versus Damian Priest and versus Montez Ford. Banger.
I got
immediately.
Damian Priest.
Hmm.
You got to kickstart the the Judgment Day rocket ship to the moon, and
I know,
this is
but
a
then are
great
we
way
gonna
to
see
do so.
Priest and Theory feud at Mania?
No, because Theory's gonna feud with Cena. Cena's
Oh
coming
yeah,
back to face
but
him.
then how is he gonna be United States champion at Mania if Damian Priest is champion at Mania?
I don't think Theory and Cena will have a match. I don't think you need to put a title on
No,
Cena.
he's gonna. Remember, David suggested the U.S.
Oh
title
yeah,
open
I don't.
challenge
I
because
would
that's
love
what I
that to happen, but
because that's what I want to happen. That's what I'm saying.
that's
I'm
my
saying,
saying. I'm trying to
yeah,
be like very down the middle, and I just don't see how you don't put the title on Damian Priest and then have Judgment Day just go to the moon and have them win the tag titles with Finn and Dom. Rhea wins the women's title, and then they go to SmackDown and become that A feud because the bloodline is kind of after Mania. So
I am saying Austin Theory is winning because I don't think that they're going to take the title off of him yet, and I really want him to have the U.S. Open Challenge so that Cena can come out and answer it, and I can cry my eyes out.
that would be incredible. I
Oh
would
my
love
god,
that as well.
this is another reason why I could never do a watch along with WrestleMania because first of all, that is a long ass watch along. I don't know why anyone would be sitting there watching along with me for that long. But also, when Cena comes out, like I don't even want you to know what I looked like at that WrestleMania when he came out to Basic Thugonomics. Like, thank God I was by myself because I was like, I was so excited.
I
Um,
lost it. That was
yeah,
uh,
they even the commentators were marks. Like I remember Renee being like, "Oh my god!" Like she was even freaking out. So I thought that was great. I do think this is going to be a really good match. What I find interesting too is over the last it's basically been like the last 2-ish weeks that I can recall off the top of my head. They've had a lot of theory focusing on Rollins specifically. So that kind of makes it seem like what's going to happen there? Is that going to be the main two in the match? What's your brilliant idea?
why you see the smile coming about. I have an awesome theory, a town down, that Seth Rollins is going to be a pinfall away from eliminating somebody. Maybe the last person, and maybe just a random one off. And who comes in the match? None other than
Ew.
the Hurricane. Yeah.
The
Logan Paul.
Hurricane?
That's what his theme song
Oh.
is called.
Oh, I was like, you're
Sorry.
talking about Shane Helms? Like,
No,
why
I'm
would
not
he
talking
come
about old
out?
ass Shane Helms. He's old. No, I'm talking about Logan Paul and
I
his
feel
theme
like
song names.
I feel like that has to happen because
It
how
has
else
to.
do they have Logan just feud with Seth for no reason?
Oh,
Like,
that would be so. We would get so many raw, pun intended,
yeah,
vignettes, promos from Seth Rollins, backstage stuff. Like we could go really dark with it. I don't know. I need that to happen. Like need
that
it to
would
happen.
I mean, as much as I think that Seth deserves better for Mania, I am down with that. I think that's a good thing. But I do think this is going to be a really good match. I'm looking forward to it. It's cool to see Johnny Gargano. Bronson Reed with his Australian accent that doesn't match what the man looks like at all. So confusing to me. But isn't that
It's
just
really
weird
funny.
when you like haven't heard someone speak before and then you hear them talk and you're like
Like
that?
oh,
It's the same thing with, like I said, with Braun Breaker. That voice does not match your physique, sir.
it does not. It really doesn't.
But he was, cursed with being a Steiner. So
That's what happens when you're a Steiner.
and then there is the main event, which is for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, which is Roman Reigns, our tribal chief, versus Sami Zayn, our underdog hero.
This segment may last an hour.
I know, but I'm
This
gonna
this
try not
segment
to.
may be like a Netflix episode. I'm not even kidding.
Well,
And I'm counting
we
the
do have a
like.
couple comments about this too, so we'll want to make sure we
Okay,
take that on there.
okay. I'm expecting combined with a maybe intro segment with them before the intro of the pay-per-view, maybe a backstage segment or two, and then the entire match like over 110 easily. It's going to dominate the show.
Oh
As
yeah,
it should, though. As it should. And
it's
I'm
gonna
throwing
be.
Cody in there. If Cody comes out or Cody's backstage or something,
I don't
that's
think they'll have
thrown in.
Cody involved.
I'm just saying for purposes of people going, oh, what about Cody? Is
I
he in
think
there?
that
Is
would
he his
be
own thing? It's like,
overshadowing, but
it would be. But I'm
I
just
think there are
covering all
so
ground.
many different ways that this match can go because I mean, if you ask me right now what I think is going to happen, obviously Roman's retaining. That's just what my gut feeling is. But because of that segment between Cody and Sammy on Raw, because Cody said he wouldn't be against having a triple threat, because these storylines are so hot right now, I really wouldn't be surprised if it came down to a triple threat. Even if I don't necessarily want that to happen, um, it might be what they have to do because they have to, keep going when the card is hot right now, and that is Sammy, Roman, and Cody. And I think that's what's kind of nice. Like, obviously, Sammy's not going to win. I cannot imagine them taking the titles off of Roman only a month and a half before Mania. But I'm interested to see like how much of the bloodline gets involved. Do we see Jay turn on Sammy? Do we see him defend Sammy? Like how everything can happen, I think, is what's the most exciting part. Not to mention, it's going to be really awesome to see Sammy versus Roman. We've been waiting so long for that.
That pop he's going to get from
Oh
his
my God.
hometown crowd is going to be deafening.
He
It
said
might
that
break
he
some.
might use his old music, like the traditional Sammy music,
Oh, okay,
I,
yeah.
I read about how people want that song back, and he said that he kind of feels like that song's been there, done that, like he needs something new. But he said that it might be fun to use in Montreal, and I'm like, can you imagine if he has to use it in Montreal? Like
Yeah.
even if it's just a one off, it's fine. Just come out. It's like with
Broken
McIntyre.
dreams.
Yeah, like do it.
I dream broken dreams.
Why'd you even said it like with a little Irish accent there?
I make them come true.
But it's like he's Scottish, dude. But yeah,
It's
no, I
tomato
think
potato.
that would be. Oh, don't let them hear you say that.
It was tomato
Uh,
potatoes are two different things.
okay. But yeah,
Oh,
I think there's a lot of ways. But we do have Freddie who's saying because we did talk about Owens and Sammy being the pairing for a Mania match against the Usos. He says any chance KO turns on Sammy Saturday, that might be the only way to get Sammy out of this storyline and get the fans fully behind Cody. Fans are fully behind Cody at this
yeah,
point.
yeah. I'm
But
not worried about
also
that.
I think there are ways to get Sammy out of this without it being KO turning. I don't think KO is going to turn on Sammy,
No,
but
it's
I
not.
do think that it could work easily if Jay turns on Sammy. If
Yes,
Jay reveals like, oh, like what I was saying when we talk about SmackDown, I think if Jay's a mole for the bloodline, like I think that could be a really huge factor because he's going to think that he had Jay had his back and he thought that he still had somewhat of an in with the bloodline or, a genuine relationship or friendship with somebody. And if Jay squashes that, I feel like that betrayal would be enough for him to be like, F this, we're going for the tag titles. And I'm going
yeah,
to take, the guy that's been a pest to you guys is going to be KO. Freddie also said he followed that up with, I don't think putting Sammy in a tag match at WrestleMania is the way to go either. I don't think fans are going to go for that. They want Sammy in the main event no matter what. So having KO turn on him in Canada.
no, you won't
I
turn on
don't,
him. It makes no sense
yeah,
because
I don't think
that's just
so.
too much. That's like a big show face heel flop within 2 weeks of each other. It
Well,
doesn't make sense.
Owens hasn't been on TV
Yeah,
for a
and
few weeks, but I think the biggest part of one of the biggest parts about Sammy finally turning on Roman was because it was coming to the defense of Owens. And that was the part of people have been looking forward to as well, because it was like everyone knows their friendship and how far back they go. And I think that was part of the excitement not just turning on the bloodline, but the reunion between those two.
Mhm.
I think that they've done a good enough job to get people behind Cody and the sentimental value behind him winning the championship. I think that they could easily transition Sammy out. And I think the fact that it would be against the Usos, who people are still, I mean, they're supposed to be the bad guys, especially if Jay turns on Sammy. It's easy for people to get behind Sammy and Kevin to be tag team champions. It's really
I'm
easy.
doing it right now. I'm getting behind it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I'm
I
doing
don't
it
like
right now. Can't you
right
tell?
now.
I'm
I
sitting
am
here doing it right
so
now.
locked in to it.
Yeah. I mean, and again, like they did tease a possibility of triple threat, but I feel like it would almost be a disservice to both Sammy and to Cody, because I think that Cody won the Royal Rumble, and I'm sure he's expecting it to be a one-on-one match. And I think that if Sammy were to lose at Elimination Chamber, I don't know how they would be like, oh yeah, like if he won clean. Okay, we're saying if he won
Yeah,
lost clean.
Yeah, lost clean.
Why would he get a rematch at Mania? Like how would they write that in? So,
He doesn't deserve a
um,
rematch. It's not in his clause.
he says, "What if Jay doesn't turn on Sammy? Then what do you do?" I think that's the only thing, but I don't know, because there is also so much time, like we said, between Elimination Chamber and Mania. There's literally anything that they can do, so I don't know that the end all be all is whatever happens at Elimination Chamber, and that is going to be what projects everything for the storylines going into Mania. I think that there's still too much time for them to build stuff. But I think this is the thing, right? What's great about this is that we are in a time where there is so much good stuff happening, and we have a new guy in creative that we have no idea what's going to happen. There's so many
No
possibilities.
idea.
And it's nice that we can sit here and actually debate and speculate and talk about all of what the possibilities are. I think that's really cool.
It is. I'm very. It feels different. It feels nice. Because in years past, it felt very predictable.
Hmm.
Leading into Mania, where now, you're making predictions. It's
Yeah.
able to make predictions. I think would be
Well, and
better.
so far, knock on wood, they haven't done us wrong with the bloodline stuff.
No, you can't.
So
They've been,
I would
they've
like
been
to
telling
believe
them,
that they won't do us wrong on
yeah,
Saturday.
they will not. No, I agree with that.
All right. Are we ready for the 3 count?
All right, the 3 count. One, Sarah. We've been talking about Elimination Chamber
Yeah.
for a while now,
Yeah.
and we've talked a lot about the highlights.
Yeah.
But there is one I would say very, very, very low light
Okay.
in the Elimination Chamber history, and that is the Elimination Chamber Extreme Elimination Chamber that went down at December to Dismember, ECW's first pay-per-view under WWE. And I was thinking about like how do I prep for this today other than the notes and stuff. I was like, well, I'm not gonna watch every single Elimination Chamber.
Right.
I'm gonna pick the most ridiculous one, and it was this one. I was thinking about ECW today, anyways, and I clicked on it, and it was like, "Oh, we're gonna get the whole pay per view." I'm not gonna go into the whole pay per view right now, but the Hardys and Eminem started off the show.
Probably solid
It was
match.
that was one of the best matches on the card, if not the best.
Hmm.
And then Kelly and Mike Knox came out and fought Kevin Thorne and Ariel.
What is that is a whole conversation that we could have on a different episode, but Kelly and ECW was the weirdest time period for
Hey boys,
the whole like Kelly's expose, that was just weird. Her being
fourth
in love
grade,
with
I
like
was watching
weird,
that every night.
ugly, weird looking men. It just so weird.
Yeah, she was congratulating CM Punk, or not congratulating, wishing him luck on his match in the Elimination Chamber. And Mike Knox, her boyfriend at the time, was not too happy with it.
Yeah, Mike Knox is Kelly's
Keep that
boyfriend.
hat on. Oh my god. And then the actual match itself got fixed. So Sabu got taken off the card. There's a reason behind it. I do not know off the top of my head. And the fans were pissed. Holy shit, Sarah. They were booing during the segment. Like when he went
Mm.
down, they were booing. because they knew what was going on. It was some like feud where I think the story goes that they didn't want Sabu on the card, and then like because WWE and the Extreme stuff, and they had to write him off. And guess who his replacement was?
Who?
Bob Holly.
Oh, hardcore Holly.
How do you like me now? It was bad.
How do you
And
like me
then
now?
Heyman
I'm not
came
a
out
race
and
car
cut a
driver no
promo.
more. I don't race cars no more. I'm
What's his,
Bob Holly. I'm hardcore.
what was his race car name?
I don't
Oh, it
know.
was on a countdown. I forget. But Heyman came out and cut a promo before the match started, saying how it's going to be a new era in ECW, and that ECW's legacy dies with him. And oh my God, the fans were booing him, chanting, "You sold out." It was unbelievable. And the match itself, like the whole card, it just felt like Taz and Joey Styles didn't want to be there. It was just unbelievable. And then two, Sarah, I've been teasing this for a while. The NWF, all right, the Nonsense Wrestling Federation. It's a
Oh,
project.
Freddie said it was Spark Plug Holly.
Sparky Plug. That's what it was. Yes, Freddie. Fuck yes, Freddie. But yeah, so the Nonsense Wrestling Federation, something I've been working on, and even have done some mock pay-per-views over on my YouTube channel, Nonsense Sports Network. Go follow that as well. Subscribe, I mean. But you know, it kind of got derailed, Sarah, when WWE announced that they were coming out with a new game in March, and I just didn't feel like we should put in the effort for it with this game when there's a new one coming out and
Yeah.
all that jazz. So, in the meantime, while that happens, I still want to get this going, and you know, the way my mind works, an idea is really just a thought away. And what I have thought of, Sarah, is every week, what if we pick two random wrestlers and we just record the match? I can record on my stream here at Twitch, and then we bring it in here, do a YouTube video on it.
Okay.
And then we just commentate the match like we are at the commentator's desk.
I would love to see some mess ups in the game too, especially early on when it
That's
just is
the point.
hilarious.
Yes, and that's where the nonsense factor comes into this, because whatever happens, happens. It's not our galaxy, you know. So be on the lookout for that, and that will be on the Nonsense Sports Network. You know, because we're going to be integrating that with some fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff with that is being planned out. I'm excited for. And then three, Sarah, do you have any wild predictions for the Elimination Chamber? Do we have any?
Wild.
Like, let's no ones that like we haven't talked about that you would just. It can be as extremely biased as possible.
I don't think so. Not like I did for the Royal Rumble where I was like Vince McMahon is gonna win
Like,
the Royal.
honestly, yeah, something like that. But
I don't have anything. I don't think. I feel like for me, it seems I don't know what I think is going to happen is what I honestly think is going to happen. So it's hard for me to think of anything crazy. What do you have something crazy?
I have one
Okay.
that I would like to see. It's very subtle, but it 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 would spark a plug on Twitter. I would love to see Jay White in the crowd.
Okay. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about him
A
over the
lot of
last
talk
couple weeks.
about him being at Mania and sitting in the crowd, but I would rather him at Elimination Chamber, because at Mania, I don't feel like that's the time. You know,
So
have him
he's going
be
to go
on.
straight to the main roster. You don't think that they'll have him down in NXT
No,
at all?
you put
I'm
him
not saying
there.
he should be. I'm just saying it seems
No,
like
yeah.
that's what they've done in the past where they'll get this really great indie guy and they have him go to NXT. Other
Well,
than like AJ Styles. But
yeah, and he's on
well,
that caliber where what?
I just realized too, AJ Styles has been in every Elimination Chamber match since he debuted. So this is going to be the first one that he's missing.
Ooh,
That was something I meant to say earlier, but it just reminded me since I said AJ Styles. But
it's sad.
yeah,
But you have Jay White come, and he would link up with AJ. They could even feud with Judgment Day, maybe Jay and Finn. But you get Bullet Club and Judgment Day, and It all
But that
meshes
like
together.
it like hurts me though because I
What?
want Finn in there so bad.
That's why you still have them like intertwined.
I know, but then he's still like as much as I love Judgment Day, I want Finn in the Bullet Club in WWE.
I know. Oh, that would be so cool. That would
Man,
be cool.
it would be.
All right. Well, that does it for our Elimination Chamber prediction show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're listening on the podcast app, wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google. We're there. Check it out. Leave a 5-star review and leave a comment about what you would like to see or hear from us. I know we got an AEW video planned in the works about the AEW women's division, and Sarah's going to do some research on that. Sarah, some good news regarding that, actually. The women main evented Dynamite tonight.
Was Soraya in there?
Yeah, as the manager.
Okay, I was gonna say I saw her trending, so
Soraya was managing Tony Storm, who fought against it was Tony Storm, Britt Baker, and Ruby Soho. So that women's division's cooking up. So we'll be doing stuff like that, and you can find that stuff like that on Sarah's YouTube channel, where we are live right now. Sarah Marshall XO. Go follow, hit subscribe, check out our clips if you can't tune into these live streams because it's been an hour, 6 minutes, and 33 seconds. It's a long time if you're just listening to this, and so you want to hear what we have to say about a certain topic, but not the other. Well, we have clips for you on her page as well. So go check those out. Leave a comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and then follow us on Twitter Twitter at Pat_Pitts, and then for Sarah at SMarshXO, Instagram Pitsy35, and then Sarah's Instagram is SMarsh_. Booyah. Sarah, anything else to add?
I got nothing.
Nice.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, we'll be back. I don't think we'll do a SmackDown breakdown this week.
Yeah.
I don't
Probably
think
maybe
that.
come on for a little bit after the pay-per-view.
That's what I'm saying. So the pay-per-view,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a little bit of a breakdown of that. So there's no need, and we can, obviously there will be stuff intertwined on SmackDown with the pay-per-view itself. So it will all get talked about on Saturday when we do a little bit of a reaction show. So go check that out. Thanks for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you gotta do is try. See you next time.